Namaskar. I express my heartfelt thanks to Sangam Talks, the management and faculties and all staffs of Sangam Talks for giving me the very good opportunity to express my research research findings on RN invasion theory in this highly valuable webinar. I also express my thanks to the eminent scholars, great personalities, students, and patriots who listening this lecture. I once again say my vanakkam, namaskar to one and all. I have been introduced. I am a medical graduate with postgraduate diploma in ophthalmology and also diploma in archaeology and epigraphy and post-graduation in history. These are all my contact numbers, my mail ID and my web address. In this webinar, we are going to detail about the implausible Aryan invasion theory, AIT. Shortly, we can say AIT. It is a wrong and baseless conjecture without even a single evidence. That is an important thing. There is not even a single evidence to prove it is a theory derived based on scientific research. And it has, on the contrary, it has evil and malevolent motive. That we can prove it easily. So that is going to be discussed in this webinar. First, the origin and spread. For example, how it began, or this Aryan invasion theory began, who spread it, and in what way they spread it, what is the motive. These things we have to analyze first. After that, what are all the evidence against? There are two parts of this lecture. First, this thing is Filippo Sessetti. He was an Italian from Florence. He came to India in the year 1583 and he stayed in Goa, Cochin, Malabar, all these places up to 5 years. And he wrote 32 letters to members and other important officers at Italy. Unfortunately, they were published only a few centuries after this 1588. That is around 1800 Common Era. In that, he mentioned many similarities between the Sanskrit and Italian language. For example, Deva is Sanskrit, Dio for God in Italian language. Sarpa, Sanskrit, Serpa is Italian language for snake. Sapta, art, and Nava, like that many words are there. So there are weird similarities between Sanskrit and Italian language he showed. In other language also, they found out that, for example, Pitru, father, Mata, Matru for mother, like that they found out in other European language. In the same way, in the Persian language, Zindh language, Pidar and Madar. So there are similarities. So after based on this phonetic similarity, wherever they, even in Sandrakotas or Asoka's edict, they rely only on phonetic similarity, nothing else. So this form the basis, the phonetic similarities of 50 or less than 25 words between Sanskrit and European language form the basis of this conjecture, what is called Indo-European language family. That is the thing they called Indo-European language family. So out of lakhs and lakhs of words in a language, just assumed similarities of less than 25 words, they formed the theory that is Proto-Indo-European language. That is the precursor of Indo-European language. That is precursor of Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, and many other European languages. And William Jones, in the first lecture I have told, he is an English judicial officer of East India Company. He mentioned all these are sister language and Sanskrit is the most oldest one, so he can consider as mother language. And the Jent is a Persian ancient language, that is Iranian ancient language. So they call it is Indo-Iranian language because there are similarities between Sanskrit and Jent. But the Germans, what they thought, Germans are pure Aryans. So they are more write on Sanskrit. So they call it as not Indo-Iranian, no Indo-European. It is only Indo-German language. That is the thing they introduce a new terminology. For example, German philologist Franz Bopp, he wrote comparative philology as a science. It is a science. Say you have to tell something, and you have to tell that it is science. Everybody will accept. That is the mindset of Indians, even now. So he mentioned Indo-German language, but Rosen and other British people requested Bob to change Indo-German into Indo-European language. This is very important thing because later on it will come again. But in the early part of 18th century, there is a power race to capture India between Portugal, France, Netherlands, and England. Finally, England won the race. But however, there are only 2 lakhs English troops and officers. But the people to be ruled are 10 crores. So they cannot rule. So they started a policy, devised a policy that is divide, rule, loot, and conduct. And to seed inferiority complex in the minds of Indian people. Then only 2 lakhs English troops can rule 10 crores of Indians. That is the device they allowed. One of them was to reduce India's antiquity and India's greatness. So that to reduce India's antiquity, they should know some Sanskrit. So a board and chair for Sanskrit language is created in Oxford University in 1832. And James Mill, Charles Grant, and Vincent Smith wrote false history on India. That in the first lecture of Sangam I have mentioned. And then came the important personalities, that is Thomas Babington Macaulay, who gave our Macaulay education. And he requested Frederick Max Miller to translate ancient Sanskrit texts in a wrong way. That is the thing. These are all the players who played in Aryan invasion game. Then come James Cowles Richard. He is a British physician. He is the first person to mention Aryan race in the year 1843 Common Era. Then came Christian Leysen, German Orientalist. He used to mention Arya to denote a particular sect of people. And John Wilson is a Scotland Christian missionary who came to India. He mentioned Aryas as a race in his text, India 3000 years ago in 1858. So thus Arya slowly the word denotes a race. That's why that type of conjecture came in India. And after that, the 2 important Christian missionaries, that is Robert Caldwell and G.U. Pope, who seeded separatist mindset in Tamil Nadu. They came to Tamil Nadu in this year. These Christian missionaries divided the north and south people and language of India as Aryan and Dravidian. For example, you can read Caldwell's A Comparative Grammar of the Dravidian of South Indian Family of Languages. See, Caldwell, he just came here 2-3 years before writing this book. You cannot study Sanskrit even if you study for 10 years. He has to study grammar of Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Sanskrit, Hindi, Marathi, all in 2-3 years. Is it possible for a human being? But we believed Caldwell. And we accepted what his book says. But in 1857, the first war of independence against British came, and the British narrowly escaped. That was mentioned by Lord Canning himself. It was a natural rising of the people. So, if the British want to continue to occupy India, they should divide and rule policy, create like that policy, and they have to divide the people of India. They should not unite and fight against British. So they created Aryan Dravidian divide. For that, Robert Caldwell and G.U. Pope helped a lot. Then came Frederick Max Miller and Thomas Babington Macaulay, who met in London 3 times in 1850, and I have mentioned they discussed the curriculum and syllabus for the English youth to be sent to India to rule. That was the importance of Macaulay and Max Muller. And after that, Friedrich Max Muller, he translated Rig Veda because it was financed by East India Company and Thomas Babington Macaulay. Already I have explained. On translating Rig Veda into English, what is his important thing is to translate in a manner that it should seed strong aversion in the minds of Indians on Veda. They should hate Veda. That mindset should be there, should be created. Based like that, it should be translated. That is the job given to Max Muller by Macaulay and East India Company. On translating Rig Veda, Max Muller came across the word Arya 36 times in 34 mantras. And he started propagating Aryan theory. Regnard, he was a French friend of Max Muller. He popularized Aryan theory of Max Muller in France. And Count de Gobineau, he identified white Europeans with the Aryan race. Inequality of races, he wrote a book and he mentioned that Europeans are Aryan. Now, first they created Aryan as a race and slowly they included white Europeans in that race. That we should understand. Friedrich Max Muller in 1860 in the German article used the term Aryan race. And again I say, whatever you say, you have to say it is a science. Then everybody will accept it. So in 1861, he gave a lecture with the title Science of Language. So it is a science, he told. Max Muller used the term Aryan race and he propagated throughout Europe, even outside Europe. And in that lecture, he clearly mentioned that Aryan is a race and it is a not cultural term, but a physical and anthropological terminology. That we should understand. He later somersaulted. He refused it. But in these lectures, he mentioned Aryan as a race based on physical and anthropological characters of human beings. That we should understand. And these are all things are the phonetic similarities of just less than 25 words found in Sanskrit and many of the European languages. That is the basis. This may be due to borrowing of words because there are trade, travel, sea voyage, and visit of cultural ambassadors, Buddhist monks, Chinese travelers, Greek travelers are there. So they would have carried that word to Europe from Sanskrit. So borrowing of words that they are not considered. They say that it's a common origin. But the same thing is not applied to the languages of Asia, especially Southeast Asia, Chinese, Japan, Korea, and Sanskrit. See, you can find out more similarities between Sanskrit and Tamil with the languages of Southeast Asia. That is language of Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, other. And between China and Korea and Japan. There are more similarities than with the European languages. You can see. In Japan, Yamaha is Namaha. And Goma is Homa. Tera, elder. Toba, Stupa. Kanda, Ganda, Kadar. Like that, Yuga, Yogi. Like that, many words are there. In Korea, there are many Tamil words are there. We call father as Appa. They call it as Appar. We call it as Nal. They call it as Null. So there are many similarities between Tamil and Korean languages. So in this case, if we ask, they told it is a borrowing of words due to travel and trade. But same thing they are not applying to European languages and Sanskrit. When the European language came, it is a common origin they are mentioning. When Southeast Asia and East Asian countries came, they are mentioning borrowing of. So they apply two different standards, two different scales for a same thing. So that we should understand and we should remember this, how they applied differently. So what is the motive? Why they created? Say, first motive is, it is no man's land. Nobody is son of this soil. For example, in the Cambridge History of India, edited by E.J. Robson, in these pages, L.D. Barnett wrote, Dravidian gradually made their way from north or northwest, probably through Baluchistan, into the plains of Indus and passed down into the regions of south of India, that is southern Bharat, southern India. So Dravidian also came from outside. They are called Proto-Dravidian. They are not the son of the soil. That is the thing L.D. Barnett wrote in this book. So not only Aryan, but even Dravidians are also outsiders. The first Dravidian came to this land and occupied, then Aryan came and occupied, then Mughals came, and lastly English came. So English people got equal right on Indian land. Because nobody is son of the soil, everybody came outside. English also came outside. So English got equal right with Dravidian, Aryan and Mughals and everybody. So when our freedom fighters of India asked British to quit India movement, what British told, whoever come first to this land should go out of this land first. That is first to come to go first. So Dravidians should go first, then Aryan, then Mughals and others, and lastly only English people will go. Why should they go? They will occupy the land. So for this, it is no man's land. We are not the sons of this soil. English got equal right on Indian land. So that they mentioned this Aryan and Dravidian who came outside of India. Then second motive is race theory. According to race theory, white people are at top, black at bottom, and others at the middle. So white people are the topmost, highly intelligent and more capable race than other people. So this is to vindicate European occupation of other continents and to rule other human beings as slaves and to justify that as the masters, European got right to rule, loot and convert other human beings. So to justify and vindicate their atrocities on other people and their rule on other countries, they created race theory. For that, it is useful, Aryan race theory. And the third thing is the most important thing. Already I have told that first they created Aryan race and they included the Europeans in that Aryan race. They also belong to Aryan race and also some part of the Indians also belong to Aryan. So Indians also Aryan race and Europeans also Aryan race. So they are both cousins. So it is a happy reunion of family. John Wilson mentioned, English occupation of India is nothing but a happy family reunion. Frederick Max Muller, 1847, mentioned, the descendant of same race meet again. That is, English occupation of Indian land is nothing but an occupation. It is not at all an occupation or aggression. It is a happy reunion of family. After all, your own brother only ruling. He is not different from you. That mindset they want to create among Indians so that they will not oppose British rule in India. That is the thing they mentioned, happy reunion of cousins. And fourth thing is identity crisis for the Europeans. After 17th and 18th century, due to industrial revolution. How this industrial revolution came in England? Indian Express mentioned, and also this, if you type Indian Express Bengal Blunder, it will come. The corporation that changed the world by Nick Robbins in page 178, what he mentioned, India gave capital for industrial revolution of England through the Plassey War of Bengal in 1757. After that, British took away 125 crore pounds, which will be equal to more than 20 lakhs of crores of rupees now at present time. That much they have taken. Bengal plunder, it is known as, they have taken that much amount from India to British and just give the capital for the industrial revolution. So because of this industrial revolution, they started occupying other people's land and they become the rulers of most part of the world. So this led to some pride in them. However, their antiquity was not great and ancient. I have already mentioned history of England. Before 8th century Common Era, they don't know what is their history. So they have no antiquity, no greatness among them, but they are the rulers. Suddenly they become the rulers. So this led to an identity crisis, a vacuum in their mind, and a deficiency in their pride. So they don't want a Judaic ancestry. So they want some identity. So they look at the East. Max Muller and other Europeans found out the word Arya in Veda, which denotes a highly qualified, dignified, and very ancient personality. So they took Aryan as their ancestry. So to overcome the identity crisis of the Europeans, they used the Aryan as their own race, ancestry. Max Muller wrote in the book History of Ancient Sanskrit Literature, that is northwest migrants from Central Asia, that is Europeans, represent the Aryan man in his historical character. That means the pure Aryans are Europeans, not the Indians. That way he projected. Next. So these are all the four things: to occupy land and race theory, and also to rule by saying that happy reunion of family, and also identity crisis. These are all the four motives because of which Aryan race theory was created. And this I explained why it is fixed at 1500 BC. In the last lecture I explained that is Chandragupta Maurya date was fixed wrongly at 321 BCE based on William Jones' wrong conjecture that Sandrakotas was Chandragupta Maurya and contemporary to Alexander. That I explained in the first lecture in detail. And in the second lecture I mentioned about the detail about the Yavana kings. 5 Yavana kings mentioned in Asoka's 13th rock edict. And based on that wrong assumption, that is these Yavana kings denote Greek, they fixed the Asoka period around 250 BCE. And based on the Buddhist chronicles of Sri Lanka, they fixed Buddha Nirvana based on this conjecture. Chandragupta Maurya date and Asoka date, wrong conjecture. They fixed wrongly Buddha Nirvana around 500 BCE. Based on that, Buddha opposed Veda. Like that, they assumed things, wrong things. And they fixed Veda from 1200 to 600 BC. So they have to allot 300 years for Aryan to compose Veda. So in that way, Max Muller fixed Aryan invasion in India wrongly at 1500 BC. Total theory itself wrong, the date also wrong. And I explained this ghost story, Katha Sarita Sakara, in that Katyayana, who was a ghost, who worked under the Nanda, Minister Nanda, become the minister of Nanda in the previous birth. And in this Kadacharita Sagara, he was a ghost. And this ghost tells his previous birth. So a ghost story become a history text. And based on that, Max Muller wrongly fixed the Veda date from 600, Sudra part of the Veda text from 600 to 200 BC. Based on that, he fixed Aryan invasion theory, as I explained previously, date at 1500 BC. And the most important thing is James Ussher chronology. He is Archbishop of Ireland. He declared that Earth was created at 4004 BCE. So the they are all at 200 years, 2000 years for human ice age and great deluge. So human history cannot be go beyond 2000 BCE. So they allot 500 years for Aryan stay in Central Asia. So they fixed Aryan invasion at 1500 BCE. It is not scientific fact. Now science totally outdated this Ussher chronology because lakhs and lakhs of years of fossils were found out. The age of Earth goes millions and millions of years. So it is totally outdated. But these European Orientalists, especially Max Muller and other people, believed it as a scientific fact because it was declared by Archbishop. For them, the words of Archbishop is more important than the scientific pursuit. For that reason, they fixed around 1500 BC. Why Central Asia, especially the Samarkand, they declared as a homeland? Now, many scholars, they say that the original homeland of Aryan differs. Their opinion differs. It varies from Central Asia to Central Europe or any land in the earth except India. They will not accept only India. Other people, Africa, Australia, other area, anything they will accept. But Aryan, they are the native of this land. So it is like searching in a dark room, a black cat that itself is not present. In that way, these scholars are searching the homeland of Aryans. This is actually India, except India, in other places they are searching. Max Muller only proposed the Central Asia, that is Samarkand as homeland. What is the basis? For example, in Sanskrit and European language, the word for sea, that is ocean, and fish, that is Matsya, are entirely dissimilar. For example, sea, Sanskrit is Samudra or Sakaram, Latin is Mare, Darya in Persian, and English sea. So, no similarity. And the same way, fish, Matsya in Sanskrit, fish is in land, Latin, fish in Goth, and fish in English. No similarity. So, there is no similarity between the word sea and fish. So, these Aryans would have stayed in a land which is landlocked. There is no sea nearby. It is not on the sea coast. That is the derivation, because they have not come to know the sea and fish Aryans. So it should be away from sea. That is one conjecture, one assumption. And the second assumption is Indo-Aryan languages changed the least than the European languages. So the travel to Indo-Iranian should be less. That's why less change or less damage. So it should be nearer to India and Iranian. This is another conjecture. Based on that, Max Muller fixed Central Asia as the homeland, because there is no sea, fish or similarity, and Sanskrit is less change. Based on these two facts, he fixed the Central Asia as the homeland of Aryans. But what is the fact, truth? You see in Central Asia, Caspian Sea is there, Aral Sea is there, many lakes are there, Sashikol and other lakes are there. There are inland seas within 300 kilometers on all sides in Central Asia. So, but these Aryans are there so immobile, they didn't travel even 300 kilometers to reach seashore. So that's why they didn't come across sea and fish. But if you see in Central Asia, many varieties of fish are there. See, this is the thing. And you can understand, fish will not be not only in sea, but also in lakes, river, pond, and small reservoir of water. Even in small streams, fish will be there. So, from the residents of Aryan, there may be many streams within 5 kilometers. But Max Muller told that the Aryans were so immobile, they didn't travel even less than 5 kilometers to find a stream where fish is there. That is his statement. But in the next sentence, what he wrote, suddenly these Aryans become virulently mobile and cross 2,000 kilometers to reach Sindhu River in India and Iran, and 4,000 kilometers to reach Europe. That is the statement. Within one paragraph, he committed this exactly opposite contradicting statements. You see, Central Asia, there are many streams are there, many lakes are there, many sea are there. This is Aral Sea, this is Caspian Sea, and many lakes are there, and also many streams, these are all rivers, many streams are there. Fish definitely will be there in these streams. So totally Max Muller's statement is not correct. See, this is the Central Asia, and these Aryans are less mobile. They cannot go even find out fish in 2-3 kilometers, but suddenly become mobile to come here 2,000 kilometers and go there more than 4,000 kilometers. Exactly contradictory statement Max Muller has given. And another thing is, he mentioned that Iran is southwest of Central Asia. You can see this is Central Asia. Iran is south. He mentioned it is southeast, but it is southwest. In the book, he mentioned biographies of birds and poem of Aryas. In the page 92 to 110, he mentioned Iran as southeast country to Central Asia. But you can see it is southwest. So elementary geography itself, Max Muller failed miserably. So he mentioned from Central Asia, one group went southeast to here, another group north. Why these two directions? Because they both is opposite. We can tell easily now. But why these people didn't go east to this area? He didn't explain. Or to this Africa. He didn't explain. They would have gone like this. He didn't explain. Why these two places only? That also he didn't explain. For example, if Eastern group go to China and Korea, Japan, and there are many similar words between Sanskrit and Chinese and Korean and Japan language. Why Southeast Asia is left out? Southeast Asia also many similar words are there between Sanskrit and. So they would have come, go here like this and go here. He has not thought of that because they decided an outcome. The theory should give this result, that these Europeans should be called as Aryans, highly dignified people. Identity crisis should be solved. For that, they have taken a word from here, so they should link these two. So they decided the outcome. This link should be established. So for that, they framed a theory. So they are not done any scientific research, and based on that, they didn't come out a conclusion. But they decided the conclusion first, and after that, framed a theory. That is the thing we can understand. So elementary geography knowledge, elementary history, Max Muller didn't know. We can understand. Even he wrote contradictory statements within one paragraph. Many mistakes he committed within one paragraph. So we can understand he is not a knowledgeable person. What about his credibility, integrity? Whether it is good, that also we have to analyze. So I have already explained in 1861 in Science of Languages, Max Muller mentioned Aryan race, anthropological and physical character. It is a race, he mentioned. And German philologist Franz Bopp mentioned Indo-German language because German thought they are the pure Aryans than the Europeans. So German become unified, powerful country in 1871. So there is a conflict between German and other Europeans. German think they are the pure Aryans and other Europeans are less pure. So German got more right to rule the world than other Europeans. That is the conflict developed. So what we can see, Europeans snatched deceivingly the treasure Aryan from India. That Aryan treasure where they have taken away cunningly from India, but that treasure has to be divided among Europeans. Usually, if we take some treasure hiddenly in deceivingly from other people, there will be conflict and difference of opinion will arise, as usual. And this conflict and difference of opinion led to two world wars, First and Second World War. So the base cause of that is the treasure Aryan they have stolen from India. So when Germany unified, what British thought of Max Muller, they thought he is a German. I already explained. He is from German. He came to England in 1846. And he is advancing German ideology in Victorian England. So they suspect Max Muller as a spy. So to survive in England, to save his skin, Max Muller repudiate his own and his nation's theory. So he, just to survive, to earn his livelihood, Max Muller did a somersault and declared in 1890s that if I say Aryan, I mean neither blood, nor bone, nor hair, nor skull. So it is not a racial thing. It is not an anthropological or physical character, racial character. I mean simply those who speak Aryan language. So Arya didn't mean race, it is only language. Just to save his skin, he did a somersault. If Max Muller understood the fact and he corrected himself, we can call him as an integrated person and credible person. But to save his own life only, Max Muller did a somersault. That is the credibility and integrity of Max Muller. He even didn't thought of doing against his nation, going against his nation, Germany. Just he want to save himself. He didn't bother about his nation itself. So that is the nature of Max Muller. That is his credibility. That is his integrity. That is his knowledge. So, but what we read, Max Muller, there is Max Muller's house, or many institutions are there in India, and we think Max Muller a great person in India. So, what is the nature and credibility of this Max Muller? And we keep his words still in the history books, and we teach it to our children. That is the bad. So, Max Muller further mentioned, we cannot say no power on earth can determine Vedic comes when it is composed. So, that also he mentioned. You can refer these pages to understand the fact. So, now coming to the second part, is there any evidence? Except this philology and comparative linguistics, there is no evidence. It is a wrong application of philology and comparative linguistics. I am not blaming philology and comparative linguistics. They applied wrongly so that they can get their own result, their preconceived result. If we apply properly, it will give different result. If philology and comparative linguistics, if applied in the same way these people applied, then we can understand, we can come to a conclusion that English language originated in Sahara Desert of Northern Africa. And the original homeland of English was Sahara Desert. That is the conclusion. If you apply in the same way where those people apply. So it is entirely wrong. So what they did, they gave one assumption, and for a proof of that assumption, they give another assumption. They are not giving any evidence. Their conjecture supported by previous conjectures. There is no independent or actual evidence. I can show you an example. One person said that person A has come to New Delhi. If you ask evidence, he will say because B has been hospitalized with broken bones after the fight with A. So we ask evidence. How evidence for A has attacked B? For that he will say A has come to New Delhi. If A can come to New Delhi, but he didn't attack B, that is a possibility. But they will say first assumption, the evidence is second assumption, and the evidence for second assumption is first assumption. That is the circular argument they are giving. So even if you ask arrival of A to New Delhi, then again say B has been hospitalized. That is the way they argue. They won't give any evidence. This is circumlocutionary or tautology or circular argument. That is the thing they applied in Aryan invasion theory. So there is no evidence for Aryan invasion theory, but on the contrary, there are abundant literary archaeological evidence against this unscientific Aryan invasion theory. For example, we can go one by one. Literature. In no ancient text, either in Asia or India or Iranian or European texts, there is no evidence for Aryan came to India. It is conspicuously absent. Or Aryan from Central Asia went to Iran or Europe. There is no evidence. Not only in Indian texts, in Central Asian texts and Iranian texts and European texts, there is no evidence. So literature is totally contradicts this Aryan invasion. And if Aryan came to India from Central Asia, they would have give names to the cities or rivers based on the names and place names of Central Asia. For example, we can say New York, New Amsterdam. York and Amsterdam are in European cities. They gave it in America. New Jersey, New Orleans, New England, New Hampshire, New London. These are all the places in United States of America. They remember these Hampshire, London, England, Jersey, Orleans, and York and Amsterdam of Europe. And New South Wales in Australia. South Wales they are remembering. New Zealand from Europe. So like that, their place origin, the same name they give with the additional title of new. There are many towns named in USA, London, Oxford, Manchester. So this shows these people who are residing in America, Australia, and New Zealand, they come from England and France and Netherlands. Like that, in Indian texts, no place name of Central Asia is found out. But we remember Saraswati River. Even it was dried up, we still remembering it that Triveni Sangamam at Prayagraj, Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. So that was not there. Central Asian place name is not there. And in Tamil literature also it contradicts. Initially 1860, Max Muller concluded that Aryan came from Central Asia. They are highly educated, high profile. But in 1920, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro excavation revealed that there was a highly developed civilization, excellent civil engineering around river Sindhu, and it was dated to 1900 BCE, much before the Aryan invasion into India, 1500 BCE as stated by Max Muller. So this created a big jolt. They say that Aryan only came by 1500 BCE, after that only civilization in India developed. But before that, 400 years before that, there is an excellent civilization in Sindhu. So this created a big jolt to Aryan invasion theory. Instead of their reanalyzing the facts and accept that the Sindhu civilization people are the native people and sons of the soil, they started spreading another lie, another conjecture. They conjectured that the people of Sindhu civilization were Dravidians. This name also they found out in Indian literature. And they changed the high-profile Aryans into nomadic barbarians who came with cattle herd and fought and defeated these Dravidians and drove them to south. So they conjectured Dravidians crossed Vindhya mountain and settled in South India, and Tamil people were the important in this Dravidian group. Thus, another lie, another conjecture they created. This all resembles a movie director and a story writer. Suddenly, they are changing the story of the movie because it suits them. Like that, they change. But movie we can change, it is not history. But in history, we should not change because it will affect the future of millions of fellow human beings. So we should act with responsibility and scholarly attitude, and truth consciousness should be there in writing the history of nation. But these are all we cannot expect from these European Orientalists. So Tamil literature and this part of the India contradicts Aryan invasion theory in total. In ancient Tamil literature, including Sangam literature, it is not even one time mentioned that the migration of Dravidians from Sindhu to Tamil Nadu. So ancient texts mentioned its rivers like Kaveri, Vaigai, Anpurane, Kanji, etc. Even Ganga river, even Himalayas, Podigai hills, but no place name of Sindhu area. It is conspicuously absent. That is one thing. On the contrary, the ancient Tamil text mentioned the migration of people of Pandya kingdom from the south to north. North to south is not. It is not mentioned. Totally absent. On the contrary, south to north migration is mentioned. Exactly opposite thing is mentioned. Because this Kumari land, which was present down south of the present Kanyakumari, was submerged in ocean. There is Tenmotherai, Kapadapuram, and Kumari, and Kanya river, and Pakurili river was there. It was submerged in Hindu ocean at least some 10,000 years ago. So these people, this Pandya kingdom people, they migrated northernwards and settled at the present day Madurai. There are evidence in Sangam literature. Purananuru, Madurai Kanchi, and Silappadigaram. Silappadigaram mentioned வடிவேலெறிந்த வான்பகை பொறாது பகுருளி ஆற்றுடன் பன்முளை எடுக்குத்து குமரிக்கோடும் கொடுங்கடல் கொள்ள வடதிசை கங்கையும் இமயம் கொண்டு தென் திசை ஆண்ட தென்னமன் வாழ். That shows that this Pandya king and his people migrated from Kumari land south to north, not from Sindhu to Tamil Nadu. That is not from north to south, but exactly south to north. Totally contradicts. No literature mentioned Tapati, Narmada, Godavari, Krishna, Tungabhadra on any river they crossed if they would have come from Sindhu to Tamil Nadu. So this is totally Tamil literature contradicts Aryan invasion theory. That we should understand. And what are all the paradoxes and many contradictions? Not only this, many contradictions are there. So we can see that there is a Sindhu area, largest civilization, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, millions of square kilometers, largest civilization, but no literature. An excellent literature in the entire world, but no civilization, nothing at Central Asia. They're supposed to be homeland of Aryan. Aryans have excellent literature, but no civilization at Central Asia. Dravidians have excellent civilization, but no literature at Sindhu area. So first paradox. Second paradox is nomadic barbarians suddenly give extra voluminous and best literature of the entire world within 300 years. A language with unparalleled grammar and its grammar text, Sanskrit. They came 1500 BC. In 1200 BC, they wrote Rig Veda. Unparalleled grammar. How it is possible? They are nomadic barbarians. That's why that is what Max Muller mentioned. Paradox 3, the same Indo-European people who went to Europe before the supposed to be Indo-European people who came to India, even after 1000 years, they didn't give any literature. But suddenly the people, Aryans who came to India, within 300 years, they gave vibrant Sanskrit. Why the same family which went to Europe, they didn't give any literature even after 1000 years. But these people who came to India, they give excellent literature within 300. That is another paradox. And paradox 4 is, in Sindhu civilization, you can see well-planned cities, excellent, magnificent civil engineering, but no literature. No text on mathematics, geometry, civil engineering, architecture at Sindhu Saraswati site. But they have monuments, excellent monuments, with excellent civil engineering, architects, but no literature. But these nomadic barbarians, there is no monument, but excellent literature on Sulban Kalpasutra, Stapetya Veda, detailing geometry, civil engineering, mathematics, and architecture. How we can accept this? And paradox 5, Sindhu Valley civilization had ports, harbors, and navigation, naval trade. However, no literature on shipbuilding and navigation. However, the so-called nomadic Aryans who came from a landlocked country without sea water, there is no seashore, they have no harbors and ships, but they have excellent texts on shipbuilding and navigation. So this is another paradox. And Rig Veda mentioned what is the ancient land of our Ubau Samudrava Purve Utaparaha. That is on the east and west side of this land, of our land is, there is Samudra, there are oceans. So we know Bay of Bengal and Arabic Sea. In the same way, yesterday, last lecture I mentioned Vishnu Purana. Utram yat samudrasya himatre saiva dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama bharati yatra santati. From Himalaya to southern ocean, this is the land of Bharatam, and we are the santati of that Bharatam. The exact translation of this Vishnu Purana is there in Purananur, Tamil Sangam literature, 6th poem. Vadadu panibadu niduvarai vadakkum, tenadu urugulu kumariyin tekkum, Kunadu Karaipuru, Tudukadal Kunakkum, Kudadu Tundrumudir Bhavathin Kudakkum. Vadadu Panipadu Niduvarai Vadakkum, from Himalaya. north. Vadakku means north. Panipadu Neduvarai means the snowy mountains of Himalaya. Tenadu Urukulu Kumarian Kumari River, not Kanyakumari, that Kumari River, which was present some 10,000 years before and submerged. So, Tirku means south. Kunadu Karaipuru Tudukadal Kunakam on the east. Tudukadal, that sea was dug by the king Sagara and his son. So that is why it is known as Sagara, which was dug. So Tamil literature exactly mentioned the same thing. Todukadal Kunakam. Kudadu Tundrumudir Bhavatin, the ancient sea on the west. So exact translation of Vishnu Purana in Purananuru, this shows that this is our land since time immemorial. This song was sung on Pandyan King Palyagasalai Mudugudumi Piruvalludi, who ruled the submerged Pandya kingdom, which was submerged more than 10,000 or 50,000 years present. So in those remote past itself, this is our homeland. So exact meaning of Arya and Dravida, what these people, the Cambridge History of India mentioned, Dravida are short, very dark, black, and curl hair. Eyes are dark. Arya, tall, complex and fair, nose narrow and prominent. That is the description they have given. Physical character and anthropological character of Arya and Dravida. And Dravida are black and Arya are fair complexion. If we apply it, then Sri Rama is Dravida, Sita Mata is Arya, Lakshmana is Arya, Sri Krishna is Dravida, Mata Rukmani is Arya, Balarama is Arya, Ravana and Duryodhana, they are fair, though they are Arya. Draupadi Mata is Dravida, Arjuna is Arya, Krishna Daipayana, that is, he is mentioned as Krishna because he is black. Veda Vyasa is Dravida. See, you can see in both in North and South India, in all castes, even within one family, some people are dark, some people are fair color. Mandodari called Ravana as Aryaputra. Ravana mentioned as by these people of AIT as Dravida. However, he was the grandson of Pulastya Maharishi, who was the brother of Agastya, and he was the son of Visrava Rishi and half brother of Kubera. Definitely he is Arya because he is fair in color. So if you apply that, there will be utter confusion. So it is all total blather and pure imagination. Arya, it is a Visheshana Sabda, that is qualifying way, cultured person. Person born in high family. As mentioned in Amarakosa by Amarasimha. And Sanskrit dictionaries also mentioned in the same way. Itikasa and Purana, Veda and Buddhist texts mentioned in the same way. Rigveda also mentioned in the same way. Not even in one single place of any of the Indian texts in all languages of India, Arya was used not even a single time as a racial meaning. In the same way, Dravida, it is a geographical way. India is of 10 parts, Pancha Gauda and Pancha Dravida. North of India mountain range is Pancha Gauda Desa from Kashmir to Bengal. Bengal is known as Gauda Desa. South of India mountain from Gujarat to Tamil Nadu and Kerala, there are Pancha Dravida land. And Tamil Nadu, Kerala, known as Dravida geographical land. So, Dravida is a geographical word, Arya is a qualifying word. So, not even in one single place, in any of the languages, southern Indian languages, or including Sanskrit, Dravida was used in racial meaning. That we should understand. And in the same way, you can see in Srimad Ramayana, Kaikeyi was called Anarya because she insisted that Sri Rama should go for Vanavasa. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentioned Arjuna, his deed of dropping Gandiva, yes, Anaryam. Yes, Arya denotes the quality and character of the person, qualified by his act and deeds, not at all a racial name. In Siam language and Buddhist texts mentioned in the same way. Srimad Ramayana also mentioned in the same way. And Purva is east and foremost in Sanskrit. Uttara is north and later. So this shows our people initially, they lived in the eastern part and moved north. not from north to south, east, as mentioned by Max Muller. So that also, that Purva and Uttara word also contradicts Aryan invasion theory. And Robert Caldwell's philology study. If we apply, then Hindi will be 100% Dravidian and Marathi will become 60% Dravidian, as per his conjecture and writing. If we take some other 10 characters, the result will come opposite. So it is not reliable. And I have already mentioned, within few years, nobody can master the grammar of all these Indian languages. And one important thing is how all Indian languages have common origin and they are all sisters and mothers language. We can say in all languages of India, Nepali and Sinhala and Sindhi, they have a unique structure peculiar to them alone in the entire world. The letters are divided as vowels and consonants. A, E, vowel and Ik, Ing, that is consonant. They have to join together to form a combined letter. In English, if you write Va, V stand separately, A stands separately. But in Hindi, if you write Va, it is a single letter. Or V, it is a single letter, not two letters like English. So vowels sometimes individually denote meaning, but consonants never. They should join with vowel, then only the meaning will be there. Our life is like vowel and body is a consonant. So when life and body unites, the living being can be active. In the same way, vowel and consonant, if they join, the language is active. Sometimes life alone can be active as Asariri, like vowel. So this uniqueness of the peculiarity of the Indian language, you cannot find it out from any language outside Bharat. So it all shows all Indian languages have a common origin and common ancestry only. We are not separate. That we should understand. Now coming to the archaeology part, Sindhu sites were abandoned and not destroyed. That was proved by different mud layers of repeated deposition, and the drying of Saraswati river make them to shift, not due to fight. And there are fire altars, Kalibangan, Lothal, Rakigar, Dolivara, Kunal, Mekrikar, everywhere there we can say fire altar. That is Yajna Kunda. Yajna Kunda belongs to Aryans. So then how can we say it is belong to Dravidia? And there are skeletons. In 350 skeletons were found out. No signs of war injury or war broken bones. Thus, George F. Dales, the US archaeologist, mentioned it is only a mythical massacre. He totally disproves Aryan invasion. And Indus seal, there are spoked wheel. These people mentioned the Aryans, barbarians came from Central Asia on horse with chariots. But before that itself, there are spoked wheel seals are there in Indus. In Sinoli, we can find the horse-driven chariots are there. And A goes, the cephalic index of Mohenjo-daro and Sindh province people at present living are both one and the same. The same way, Lothal and present-day people of Gujarat, cephalic index is same. He proved it. And Poompuhar, Dr. S.R. Rao and National Institute of Oceanography of Goa, they researched Poompuhar in Tamil Nadu state, southern part of India, and they found out man-made structures 23 meters deep in Poompuhar, marine archaeology. This shows that Poompuhar was more than 5,000 years ancient. These people mentioned that Aryan came in 1500 BCE. They drove away Tamil people from Dravida people from Sindh in 1500 BCE. But Poompuhar was more than 5,000 years. That is 3000 BC. This also totally disproves Aryan invasion theory. And Harappa and Mohenjo-daro excavations shows there is stratigraphy. This means when the invaders came in 1500 BCE, the invader already, they're supposed to be Dravidan, they left there because of the drying of Saraswati or flood in the year 2600 to 2900 BCE. So the invader, supposed to be invader, left 400 years before invaders came. So it also disproved. And there is a female terracotta in Nausaro. 6,500 years before, that is 4,500 BC. In that female terracotta, there is a vermilion at the forehead, that is kumkuma at the forehead. It is they told it is an Aryan custom, but it was there in 4,500 BCE itself, 3,000 years before Aryan invasion. They're supposed to be Aryan invasion. And Kurukshetra, Kastinapura, and marine archaeology of Dwaraka definitely disproved, because their period is more than 2000 BCE. So they disprove the date of conjectured Aryan invasion theory at 1500 BC. And Sanoli, you all know, the Uttar Pradesh, the horse-driven chariots before 2000 BC. They are told the horse was brought by Aryans in 1500 BC. So it disproves. And J.M. Canoyer, he mentioned no archaeological or biological evidence for invasion or mass migration. Like that, many archaeologists, including Dr. S.R. Rao, Madhav Acharya, expressed in the same way. And the American archaeologist Jim Schafer mentioned the current archaeological data do not support the existence of Indo-Aryan or European invasion into South Asia. In the same way, Dr. S.R. Rao also mentioned no indication of any invasion of Indian towns. So archaeology totally disproved. Even the eminent archaeologists opposed this Aryan invasion theory. That we can find out in this thing. Then coming to the Saraswati River, Rigveda mentioned Saraswati in 94 places, out of which 4 were mentioned as Saraswati as a mighty river with abundant water flowing in present tense. That we should understand in present tense. Rigveda mantra, this mantra mentions Saraswati, worship Saraswati as Ambitame, Naditame, Devitame Saraswati. Naditame, the biggest river, the mighty river. Like that it goes, worship. Nadi Sukta of mentions Saraswati river, and between Yamuna and Sadlaj, Shukla Yajurveda also mentioned in 15 places. Skanda, Vamana and Batma Purana also mentioned Saraswati river in present tense. Mahabharatam, Salya Parva and Vana Parva and Udyoga Parva and other Parva mentioned Saraswati river as flowing with abundant waters. N. Jha mentioned Saraswati river become dry in 2000 BCE only. Baba Atomic Research Center and the Central Arid Zone Research Institute, Jodhpur, and also the IIT Kharagpur study. I thank Dosa Sengupta, other people. They mentioned the Saraswati river got dried in 2000 to 1900 BCE. We have already seen that Rigveda mentioned in present tense about Saraswati flowing with abundant water. So in present tense. That means this Rigveda was composed in before 2000 BC. But what IIT mentioned, Aryan invasion theory mentioned, the Aryan came in 1500 BCE and Veda were composed after 1200 BC. But Veda mentions Saraswati river as a mighty river with abundant water before 2000 BC itself. Saraswati got river dried only in 2000 BC. This shows Rigveda were composed before 2000 BCE, but Aryan invasion theory mentioned Veda were composed after 1200 BCE. So this totally disproved Aryan invasion theory. Coming to another thing is horse. They mentioned that horse was brought from Central Asia by Aryans in the year 1500 BCE. But A. Ghosh, in his book Encyclopedia of Indian Archaeology, mentioned horses are reported in Karnataka state and Gujarat in 3rd millennium, 3000 BCE. And he mentioned 4500 BCE at Baku and at Surkodat 2100 to 1700 BCE. Much before the supposed to be Aryan invasion date 1500 BCE, in which year they brought horse from Central Asia. So this contradicts this Aryan invasion there. And Davilkar mentioned that in this book, the female horse were present in 3rd millennium BCE. Mackay mentioned further excavations at Mohenjo-daro. Horse existed in the early period of Mohenjo-daro, that is before 2000 BCE. In Mahagara near Allahabad, carbon-14 tests prove horse bones period were 2000 BCE, 2265 to 1480 BCE, much before the supposed to be Aryan invasion date of 1500 BCE. And another important aspect in horse is Rigveda and Sadapada Brahmana mentioned the horse in India have 17 pairs of ribs, that is total 34. Sadustrimsat vagino, that is 34 ribs of horse. Except in Arabia and India, in all other places in the rest of the world, including Central Asia, the horse have 36 ribs, 18 pairs. Only in India and Arabia, the horse were having 17 ribs. Rigveda and Sadapada Brahmana mentioned the Indian horse having 34 ribs. So it proves that these horses were native of this land. They are not brought by Aryans from Central Asia. So that also disproves. And Aswamedha Yajna was conducted by Srimad Ramayana period itself. And in Tamil literature also, it contradicts. In Purananuru, ancient Sangam literature, very ancient, this second poem was composed at the period of Mahabharata. It praised the Sera king, Charaladan, Perunjottu Udayan Charaladan, who fed the army of Pandava in Mahabharata war. In that, Pandava were mentioned as Alangolai Puravi, Ivarodu Sinai, Nilandalai Panda Polambundinbai, Year Aimbadinman, Purudu Kadatulia. That is a fight between 5 people and 100 people, and 100 people were defeated in that war. And that Puravi means horse. So in Mahabharata period itself, there were horses. That happened, Mahabharata war happened before 3000 BCE. So it also disproved Aryan invasion. In the same way, Tamil copper plate, larger Chinnamanur copper plate, issued by King Rajasimha Pandya 1100 years before, it mentioned Maradar Malaikkalathaviya Bharadepthi Pakadoti. That means this Pandya king participated in Mahabharata war and he defeated the warriors with horse-driven chariots. Maradar means who has a Ratha, that is horse-driven chariots. And this Pandya king also removed the chapa of Arjuna. So that was mentioned. So Tamil literature and Tamil inscription totally contradicts Aryan invasion theory. See, this is a rock art, rock painting found in Tamil Nadu, in Nilgiri district, in Karikayu. Estimated date is 10,000 BC. You see, there are horses. 3 horses are there. Here, 1, 2, 3. So before 10,000 BC itself, there were horses in Tamil Nadu. It is a remote area in hilly area in Nilgiri district, western part of Tamil Nadu. There is a cave. In that, this drawing was there. I thank Kavin Ramesh and Sivakumar to give this picture to me. And in the same way, Madhya Pradesh, this painting is more than, estimated time is more than 1 lakh years. There were horses. You can see there was a chariot, horse-driven chariot. 2 persons are sitting. So this also disproves that Aryans who came in 1500 BCE to India brought horses. So it also against Aryan invasion theory. And many horse seals were now found in Sindhu excavation sites. So it also disproved. And coming to iron, many Sanskrit literature and Yajura, Atharva Veda and also Ramayana and Mahabharata mentioned Ayas, which may mean iron. We cannot say that it is definitely iron because many colors are mentioned, red and black color. It may be metal or Ayas. And we know that Bhimasena was saved by Sri Krishna from Dhritarashtra by using a metal statue. That in Mahabharata in Sri Parva. In Srimad Ramayana also, the Sula weapon of Kumbhakarna is made up full of fires, Yuddha Kanda. So, if it is iron, it definitely disproves Aryan invasion theory. But direct evidence is there from Tamil literature. In Purananuru in 21st and 367th poem, it mentioned Karungai Kollan Sendi Mati Irumbun Neerinum Meter Karidana Vengai Marban Iranga. Irumbu means Tamil. In Tamil, iron. Definitely. IS may mean any metal, not only iron. But irumbu in Tamil definitely mean iron. Irumbu un neerinum meter periya. So definitely irumbu word is there. 21st poem. This Vangai Marban at Kalayar Koil, Kanapere, was defeated by the Pandya king Ukkirapuruvalledi. This Ukkirapuruvalledi was contemporary to Chola king Rasasuyam Vetta Perunarpudi and Chera king Mabinpur, as mentioned by Tamil poetess Appayar in the 367th poem. Mutti Puraya Kantakar in the Kotravedi Venkudai Kudither Vendar. Like that sentence will go. This period of Rasasuyam Vetta Perunarkali is more than 4,000 years. So, more than 4,000 years before itself, Irumbu was there in Tamil Nadu. So, definitely, Irumbu iron didn't brought from Central Asia in 1500 BC. And this Chola king name is Rasasuyam Vetta Perunarkali. He conducted Rajasuya Yajna. So, Yajna that belonged to, yes, these people's name Arya. So, definitely then Chola king also become Arya, not Dravida. That also contradicts. So, these are all the contradictions. Then coming to almost end part, they are mentioning there is a war between 10 kings and the war with Dasyus in Rigveda. They mentioned that it is a war that conjectured to be between Arya and Dravida. Dasyu are black people. So, this Arya defeated these black people. That was only mentioned in Rigveda, and it is a conflict between Arya and Dravida. That is the thing they are saying, and it is become a part of conjectured Aryan invasion. But if you analyze history of India, we can find many wars between the people of same civilization and heritage, same race. Asoka won Kalinga. We cannot say that Asoka is and Kalinga people are different race. They are all same race only, same people. In southern India, the Pandya king Rajasimha defeated Western king Sri Purusha in a war. But what happened subsequently? This son of Rajasimha and daughter of Sri Purusha married. There is martial conflict, there is marital alliance also there. In the same way, Western king, Ganga king, Bhuvikrama defeated Pallava king, Parameswara. But Parameswara's son got married this Bhuvikrama's daughter. So, the war is between the same people. That's why they can marry. For example, you can say Mahabharata war. It totally contradicts this Dasyu and Aryan Dravidan war. Mahabharata war, what? It is a war between cousins, not between people of two different races. We can understand history in a proper way. And coming to genetics, they are saying that some people are saying genetics supports Aryan invasion theory. Some people are saying genetics opposes Aryan invasion. There are two thoughts are there. But to do a genetic study scientifically, the sampling should be 15 to 20% of the population. And the distribution should be of same as that of occupation, education, socioeconomic status, and urban-rural difference, and many other things. EQ distribution should be there, and sampling should be at least 15%. But this genetic study didn't carry out, and the sampling is less than 0.01% itself. There is no EQ distribution. So we can accept genetic study whether it disproves or proves Aryan invasion. And what are all the genetic expressions you are selecting? That also give result. If you select some genetic expressions, you can even prove the unizygomatous twin as different. Twins can be shown as a different persons if you select some genetic expressions. And if you select some other genetic expressions, you can prove that two different persons, unknown persons, living thousands of kilometers away as one and the same. It all depends what and how many genetic expressions we are selecting. So, genetic study, we cannot take it as an evidence. Now, coming to the conclusion. Thus, we have seen that implausible Aryan invasion theory is wrong and baseless unscientific conjecture without even a single evidence, and it has evil and malevolent motive. It all based on assumptions, phonetic similarity, Assumptions based on assumptions and conjectures based on conjectures, not on truth, fact, scientific knowledge or method. There is not even a single evidence, either literature, archaeology, etc., to prove it. On the contrary, literature, archaeology, and the research on Saraswati River horse actually disproves this mythical Aryan invasion theory in total. The argument based on iron, Rigvedic wars, and genetics also didn't hold any water. So it is all totally disproved. Thus, the prejudiced and ill-conjectured Aryan invasion theory with a selfish motive by the European, especially the Friedrich Max Müller and others, is totally unscientific and a blatant lie in the history of the world, especially India. But the most unfortunate thing is, this Aryan invasion theory mentioned that we are not the sons of this soil. We are outsiders who came long back and settled here. It is not our own land. And we are still believing it. We are still accepting it as a fact. Not only that, we are teaching it to our children also. We are not sons of this soil. Even after 75 years of independence, except a few admirable and adorable scholars like N.S. Rajaram, Jha, and Talagiri, and many others, the rest of the Indian scholars still parroting their European master statement, and no independent research is carried out. Still, we are teaching our students in the educational institution these blatant and unscientific lies. This is the worst and pitiable condition of India even today. Thus, I strongly conclude with the Sri Vishnu Puranam wordings. Putram yat samudrasya kimatre saiva dakshinam. Varsham tad bharatam nama bharati yatra santati. Vadadu panibudu neduvarai vadakkum tenadu urugulu kumariyanthu. That is our land. Thus, Bharatians who are the progeny of ancient rishis and jnanis of this nation, Bharatam, extending from Himalaya north to ocean in south, are the sons of this soil. And this Bharata nation is our own homeland since time immemorial, and even from the time of creation of this universe. There is no division among these Bharatians residing from Himalaya to southern ocean, and the words Arya denotes only character and Dravida denotes only geography, and definitely not at all race. This distortions and misconceptions in the history and chronology of Bharat, born out of this unscientific evil Aryan invasion theory, should be thrown out in lock, stock, and barrel, including Aryan invasion theory. And we have to rewrite the correct history and chronology of India, and it should begin immediately. The patriotic government at the center should start immediate steps. I request many listeners, the great scholars, they can mail to the central government, urging the central government to start this project. So, the Santadi, the progeny of our ancient rishis and jnanis living within and outside our nation Bharat, should join in this national endeavor wholeheartedly. With this humble prayer to Almighty and also the great scholars and one and all who are listening this lecture, I express my Nandri, Dhanyavadaka and thanks to one and all, especially to Sangam Talks and also the great personalities and students listening this lecture. Thank you very much. Sorry I have taken much time because it is a larger topic. Please pardon me.
Sir,
Vanakkam.
excellent talk. I'm really overwhelmed. I got only one question.
Okay, sir.
What impact your talk is likely to make on the psyche of Tamilians whose politics is entirely based on Dravidian identity? So much so that they say even today, like from Karnataka, the Congress MP, Kharge, Ms. Kharge, in Parliament, he said, "You are Aryans, we are Dravidians." He enacted like this. I'm only hoping that your talk will make a huge difference in the days to come. How do you see it? At the moment, you being from Tamil Nadu itself.
Sir, initially, if you read many ancient texts in 1920s or 1930s, many people accepted this Aryan Dravidian divide, and based on that only Tamil Nadu politics evolved. But initially in the text, it mentioned that Aryans came from Central Asia. Now, what the government text in the school mentioned, there is another view that Aryan are the native people of this land. Now they have added that line. So, because of N.S. Rajaram and Jha and Talakeri and many other scholars' work, it has slowly changing. So, we have to give, because they are all educated through Macaulay education, and they read only Frederick Max Muller's work. So, they wrongly believe. Slowly, if we give all the facts to them, and if they read the facts, they will slowly change. After all, they are all our own brothers and sisters. They are not different people. So it is our duty to educate them, to make them to understand that we are all one from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So it is our duty. So we will slowly educate them and make them to realize that we are all one. Slowly, in another 5 to 10 years, this will go away. Almighty is there. He will work for us.
I only hope, I wish you all the best, because this disease is even spreading to Karnataka. I am from Karnataka. Some people are trying to play this game. So I hope your hope also.
So it is all politics, sir. They want to oppose that ruling government. That's why they are talking. You are told that he is from opposition party MP.
Yeah. He did a lot of drama in Parliament. I saw that in TV. I was shocked.
So it is only politics, sir. They want to survive. For that only they are talking like that.
Thank you.
It will slowly go away. The youngsters are not taking it seriously.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I am Sayantan. I am joining you from Dubai, actually. I teach over here. And it was an excellent presentation, and I am really mesmerized by your scholarship. And you come from the profession of a doctor, and you hold such kind of vast knowledge in the field of Aryan theory. It's really commendable, sir. I would like to highlight just one point to your presentation, that recently we have found evidences about the Dwarka civilization in Gujarat, which is about 10,000 years old. So in the course of your lecture, I was just expecting you to touch upon that particular Dwarka civilization and how it is associated with Aryan invasion theory and all. So if you could work on that particular aspect and extend your lecture in future, I would like to listen to it.
Thank you for suggesting, because I have to give a lot of facts. That's why I just mentioned Dwaraka, 1900 BC. Actually, Dr. S.R. Rao and the government institution worked there, and they, on the initial level itself, they found out that there are man-made structures under sea, and its date is estimated as 1900 BCE. If they go deep, it will may go to 3000 or 4000 BC itself. So there have been the work, actual archaeological work was stopped from 1995 onwards. No further work is there, and also in Cambay Bay also some work was started, but that also stopped. I don't know why archaeological excavations are not carried out to prove facts to Indians and to the world. Actually, I request the Government of India and Archaeology Department to work more on Dwaraka, Kurukshetra, and Hastinapura and Senoli like places. Even in Pumbugar and also in the southern part of Kanyakumari, that is Kumari land. In that also they can find out many facts. Even they can prove that this Tamil Nadu its antiquity will go more than 10,000 years. That totally disproves Aryan invasion theory. That's why in Tamil Nadu they don't want to go further deep. That is the thing. I will analyze Dwaraka. Thank you. But just I want to go fast. I just mentioned one line. But thank you for your suggestion, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So my impression is, and I want to emphasize the word impression, my impression is that whatever we read today about Rig Veda is actually it is all derived from the works of Max Muller. whether it is in English or in Hindi or whatever. And that's my impression. Can you please comment on that part? What is
Okay, sir.
your understanding?
Sir, Sainacharya in 1300 AD, he wrote a commentary on Rigveda and other Veda. Sainacharya commentary is available. And this Rigveda is Shruti. This has been passed from generation to generation through orally. So it is not Max Muller who first wrote it. Before that itself, Sainacharya wrote a commentary. And many scholars wrote a commentary and they explained their disciples in a clear manner about the meaning of the Rigveda. Actually, Max Muller's idea is to wrongly translate Rigveda. He only translated Rigveda alone. He has not touched other Veda. You see, Sanskrit language itself is very difficult to understand. It's grammar. No? Rigveda, the grammar is entirely different. The meaning of the word in Veda is different from what we use the Sanskrit language, present language. So to understand that, it will take much years. In Gurukula, these people understand Veda by studying more than 10 years or 15 years. How can a Max Muller, just within 2-3 years, he can understand Sanskrit language grammar and he can understand Rigveda and he wrote a translation? It is unbelievable. No human being can do it. So that itself is questionable. And many scholars, I am giving example. Sainacharya wrote a commentary. You can buy that book, Sainacharya commentary on Rigveda and Yajurveda and other things. It is an authentic commentary. And usually Veda passed through generations after generation, orally only. See, there is Ganapada and many Pada is there. So they have to recite from backwards to forwards and they have to combine two letters unitedly. So even and Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita is there. So not even a single alteration is possible for Veda. So Veda is Anati and it has been given by our ancestors, continuously passed on to the present generation. So that we should understand.
I understand the Shruti aspect and how it is passed through the generation. I also know about Sainacharya. What I'm just not very sure about is how many written books follow Sainacharya versus Max Muller. And my impression, again, I want to emphasize, my impression is that most of the written stuff about Vedas is mostly derived from Max Muller work.
No, sir, I am having Rigveda or Pura Veda translation. It is Vedic Pratisthana, they published it. Okay. Vedic Pratisthana. And two great scholars, sannyasis, they only translated Veda. I am having the whole Veda Samhita. It is Veda Samhita. Brahmana is different and Aranyaka is different, Upanishad is different. Right. I am having all the Samhita part translated and published by Veda Pratisthana. So I am having that book I bought some 20 years back itself. So okay. Many publications were excellently published Veda with English translation. And Hindi translation, maybe many books will be available because I don't know Hindi. So I purchased English translation.
Okay. So,
okay, thank you, sir.
So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Arun Rajaji was there. He had sent some questions. I'll ask you.
Okay, sir.
I'll ask you that question. So, Arun Rajaji says, if Karakur rock art, Nilgiri dating down after 1500 BCE, what will be your stand on horse usage?
Horse was there in India, 34 ribs, still time immemorial. It is not brought from Central Asia by Aryans, as mentioned by Aryan invasion theory. That disproves Aryan invasion theory. Because it was there in India some 10,000 years before itself. That is 8,500 BC itself. Sorry, 8,500. No. 8,000 years before itself. 8,000 BC. They told, Max Muller told, horse was brought from Central Asia by Aryans in the year 1500 BC. So it totally disproves Aryan invasion theory. That is my opinion.
One small request. You mentioned in passing about the Kumari Kandam.
Yes, sir.
So I have read, seen number of videos on YouTube. I'm a bit confused about its totality, and then I also felt that it's being used. A lot of people are using it to promote that a separate Dravidian identity. So I request you to do a complete program on the Tamils, Sangam literature, Silapadikaram, as like Professor Nagaswamy was, we have lost him now. So my request is to do a totally, about this Tamil people, their kings, and they're going to the east and so on and so forth. I feel it's very, very important to integrate with India.
Okay, sir. Just one small answer. This Kumarikandam Pakuraliyaru was ruled by Palyagasalai Mudugudumi Peruvadi Pandya king. A song on him mentioned that he should bow his head when Shiva is coming, Shiva idol is coming. So totally disproved. When rishis and jnanis come, he should bow his head. That song is there in Purana. So that it would have cleared your doubt. So we can do a lot of things there. Actually, Sangam literature points out this united culture only, not separate.